Right. In the last video, I showed you how to model the future development of cities with wire parameters and greebling, and using a teapot to go through time and show you what it looks like, called the teleporting teapot. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can apply that same setting or those same kind of principles and put it into a real life city. So I'll be using Mapbox to do this, and I've already got Mapbox modeled into my site. So I've used Southbank in Melbourne as an example because it's going through lots of development and lots of high rises going through there at the moment. So I wanted to see what it could like in the very far future, or what it could look like. I've just got a satellite base layer off it, which I'll be using as a template, and then I've also used the building blocks as well as a guide just for reference as well. So to start off with, I'm going to go into the plan. I'm going to get into the create panel, go splines, and I'm just go lines. So I want to create lines around the building or the blocks of land, and then I'll start to be able to greeble that. This is quite a time-consuming process, but it does have a good result at the end. So it does make sense. So I might try and get this done, might speed this up, and then I'll get back to you when I am done. Okay, I'm happy with that now. So as you can see, I've just outlined most of the blocks of land or building blocks, and then now what I want to do is I want to make these into a surface, into a plane. So to do that, I have to select them first. Oops. Get out of that. I'll just delete that one. Delete. So I want to highlight these. Just close splines. Whoops, hang on. Okay, some parts first. So I want to go into then modifier, then search in the modifier for edit poly. Go into edit poly, and then we'll get a surface. And then from there, we want to have it into segments. So we'll go to tessellate, and then it will, if we click on it, I think, go into edged faces, so you can see, you'll be able to see that they have some edges and lines into its segmenting it, and you can also take it further as well. You can tessellate it further. Okay, so now from there, we do that. I'm going to group these ones first. So I'm going to highlight these. So this will be the way you do this, you have to group the blocks of land that are going to have the highest amount of rapid change, so highest amount of growth, and they'll have to be greebled at the same time, because the way that works is that once you greeble them, they'll be kind of grouped together, and then when we want to put Y parameters onto that, we'll have to we can't have it separate, so they have to be grouped together, and there's not really a way to change it as far as I know. So this is the way we do it. So we go modify list, go greeble, click on that, and then from there I want to also change, I don't want the panels to be lifted, I want these to be the widgets on here. So the widgets look more like buildings, they're not as big and blocky, so I'm going to adjust those so they look more like a building. So I can increase the size of them, and the max size right there. So it's almost like the same building blocks as they are the ones that are currently there. And then also we can change the size to see what it looks like, but this is not Actually, that's the wrong one. So that's the panels, and they look quite blocky. So if we go into the widgets, we can go max height, and then lift it up, and it looks like there's some new buildings being built and coming through. Alright, so if we want to continue that on, so we'll have to do the more steps. So click on here on the lines, and then so again, search edit poly, and then we will go into go tessellate to make these into a grid or separated, and then also we'll include these ones. So select these ones, and these will be at a slightly lower density to these ones. So these will be rise at probably about half the rate, but still quite fast. So I'm going to go search these and go greeble, and then again changing the widget size. This works better for this building typology. So widget size, go down, max size, make that's height, go max size, so bigger, and then minimum size, pretty big. Alright, so, and that's good. And then with these other ones out here, I've got, these will be lower density, so I'm going to make these the panels that are going to be affected. So the widgets, since it'll be lower density, they'll just take up more size, bigger lot sizes. So we're going to change these to panels. But again, same process, going to make these into surfaces first, and then we can make it into the greeble. So again, modify list, edit poly, and then tessellate, and then we will greeble these. You can change the panels, get rid of the taper. Actually, no, I have a taper, and then we can change the height from there. Alright, so now if we want to get the terrain back so we can see what's going on, now I'm going to have the teapot, so the time traveling teapot is going to come back in, get a shape, primitive, standard primitives, go teapot, and then draw a teapot. I'm going to then wire parameter the greebling to this teapot to make it change height, and then the x-axis will be the time reference. So I'm going to click on these, go wire parameters, no, hang on. Go to click on this, click on the greebling, wire parameters, modified objects, greeble. So since we did widgets, we have to go to widget max height, and then with the dotted line connected to the teapot, transform position, x position. And then this will go both ways. I won't put any other equations onto it, so it will be just as far as it moves along the x-axis, the higher it will go, and that will just be like kind of our base for that. So go click both way connection or two-way connection, and then connect, and then that will be connected. So now when we move our teapot, time traveling teapot, the buildings will rise up, and then we can kind of see how that looks in the existing setting of Melbourne. Alright, so if we want to change the some other density, like growth densities, we can do the ones we did before. So this ones was another group of ones we did. So we're going to right click that one, wire parameters, modified objects, greeble, and that was again with the widgets. So widget max height, and then I will click onto the teapot and do transform position, X position. So I'm going to have this at rise at a slower rate. So on the line, we'll change that one. So it will be the go divided by 2. So two-way connection, connect, and then we'll see how that goes. It's all theoretical, but yeah, it looks alright, working well, it's good. Alright, and then now for these kind of more lower density ones, which will be more suburban. So these are the panel ones, and these will be growing at a much slower rate than these skyscrapers we've got going here. So I'm going to right click on this one, wire parameters, click on the greeble, wire parameters, transform, modified object greeble, max panel height, and then also the teapot, and transform position, X position, and then we'll go divided by, let's go 8, both way connection, connect. Okay, so then I think that's most of it, all we had. I think that all connected. So yeah, as we can see, when the teapot moves, it travels through time, and the buildings in Melbourne change height. So it's a good way for when you're modeling, putting a building into a site. It's good to see how it'll sit in there in the future, and if something will change, if something won't change. Yeah, so this is still very basic, but it's good to have it connected to a site. Awesome. Alright, thank you for watching. That's all I've got to show you today. Bye.